animal sounds.
A is for antelope, bleat, bleat, bleat. B is for baboon, bark, bark, bark. C is for cheetah, growl, growl, growl. D is for deer, snort, 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 snort. These are the A, B, C, D safari animal sounds. These are the A, B, C, D safari animal sounds. E is for elephant, trumpet, trumpet, trumpet. F is for flamingo, honk, honk, honk. G is for gorilla, grunt, grunt, grunt. H is for hyena, laugh, laugh, laugh. These are the E, F, G, H safari animal sounds. These are the E, F, G, H safari animal sounds. I is for impala, snort, snort, snort. J is for jackal, howl, howl, howl. K is for kangaroo, thump, thump, thump. L is for lion, roar, roar, roar. These are the I, J, K, L safari animal sounds. These are the I, J, K, L safari animal sounds. M is for monkey, woohoo, ah. N is for nyala, click, click, click. O is for ostrich, boom, boom, boom. P is for porcupine, snuffle, 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 snuffle. These are the M, N, O, P safari animal sounds. These are the M, N, O, P safari animal sounds. Q is for quail, whistle, 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 whistle. R is for rhinoceros, snort, snort, snort. S is for snake, hiss, hiss, hiss. T is for tiger, growl, growl, growl. These are the Q, R, S, T safari animal sounds. These are the Q, R, S, T safari animal sounds. U is for umbrella bird, boom, boom, boom. V is for vulture, hiss, hiss, hiss. W is for wildebeest, moo, moo, moo. X is for Cerberus, chirp, chirp, chirp. These are the U, V, W, X safari animal sounds. These are the U, V, W, X safari animal sounds. Y is for yak, grunt, 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 grunt. Z is for zebra, whinny, whinny, whinny. These are the Y's, the safari animal sounds.
Lion on safari says roar,
Roar, roar.
the elephant on safari says
Trumpet, trumpet, trumpet.
the zebra on safari says
Neigh, neigh, neigh.
the giraffe on safari says
Hum, hum, hum. Roar. Trumpet,
neigh, hum. These are the safari animal sounds.
The gorilla on safari says grunt, grunt, grunt. The hippo on safari says rumble, rumble, rumble. The crocodile on safari says snap, snap, snap. The rhino on safari says snort, snort, snort. Grunt, grunt, rumble, snap, snap, snort.
These are the safari animal sounds. The leopard on safari says growl, growl, growl. The monkey on safari says ooh, ooh, ha, ha. The flamingo on safari says honk, honk, honk. The ostrich on safari says boom, boom, boom.
Growl, ooh, ah.
Honk, boom. These are the safari safari animal sounds.
The baboon on safari says bark, bark, bark. The antelope on safari says bleat, bleat, bleat. The meerkat on safari says chirp, chirp, chirp. The snake on safari says hiss, hiss, hiss. Bark, bark, bleat, chirp, hiss, hiss. These are the safari animal sounds.
The warthog on safari says grunt, grunt, grunt. The jackal on safari says howl, howl, howl. The buffalo on safari says bellow, bellow, bellow. The camel on safari says groan, groan, groan. Grunt, howl, bellow, groan. These are the safari animal sounds. The owl on safari says hoot, hoot, hoot. The eagle on safari says screech, screech, screech. The porcupine on safari says squeak, squeak, squeak. The tortoise on safari says stomp, stomp, stomp. Hoot, screech, screech, squeech, stomp. These are the safari animal sounds. These are the safari animal sounds. A is for ant, ant. A is for ant, B is for bear, bear. B is for bear, b. C is for cat, cat. C is for cat, D is for dog, dog. D is for dog, E. E is for elephant, elephant. E is for elephant, F is for fox, fox. F is for fox, G is for gorilla, gorilla. G is for gorilla, H is for horse, horse. H is for horse, I is for iguana, iguana. I is for iguana, I. J is for jaguar, jaguar. J is for jaguar, J. K is for kangaroo, kangaroo. K is for kangaroo, K. L is for lion, lion. L is for lion, L. N is for monkey, monkey. N is for monkey, M. N is for newt, newt. N is for newt, N. O is for ostrich, ostrich. O is for ostrich, O. P is for panda, panda. P is for panda, poo. Q is for quail, quail. Q is for quail, coo. R is for rhino, rhino. R is for rhino, raw. S is for snake, snake. S is for snake, sis. T is for tiger, tiger. T is for tiger, T. U is for uriel, uriel. U is for uriel, U. V is for vulture, vulture. V is for vulture, v. W is for whale, whale. W is for whale, W. X is for Ceres, X. X is for Ceres, X. Y is for yak, Y, yak. Y is for yak, Y. Z is for zebra, zebra. Z is for zebra, z.
A is for alligator, and armadillo. A is for aardvark, who likes to eat the ants. B is for bee, bison and beaver. B has a short tail. M is for monkey, moose and meerkat. M is for mouse, who is nibbling on a nut. N is for nightingale, numbat and newt. N is for narwhal, the whale with the tusk. O is for ostrich, otter and owl. O is for octopus, with 8 amazing arms. P is for peacock, penguin and pig. P is for polar bear, in the Arctic. Q is for queen bee, quokka and quail. Q is for quetzal, a tropical bird. R is for rhinoceros, rabbit and raccoon. R is for reindeer, pulling Santa's sleigh. S is for squirrel, snake and snail. S is for seahorse, swimming in the sea. T is for tiger, turkey and tapir. T is for tortoise, who can live over 100 years. U is for umbrella bird, duockery and uriel. U is for unicorn, the mythical beast. V is for vampire bat, vulture and vole. V is for vixen, a female fox. W is for weasel, wolf and whale. W is for walrus, resting on the beach. X is for xenops, eris and ox. X is for x-ray fish, swimming in the lake. Y is for yabby, yak and yeti crab. Y is for yappingale, a greenwood pecker. Z is for zorilla, zirin and zebu. Z is for zebra, who has black and white stripes.
Lion on the zoo says roar, roar, roar. The elephant on the zoo says trumpet, trumpet, trumpet. The hippopotamus on the zoo says rumble, rumble, rumble. The zebra on the zoo says whinny, whinny, whinny. Roar, trumpet, rumble, whinny. These are the zoo animal sounds. Monkey on the zoo says ooh, ooh, ah, ah. The gorilla on the zoo says grunt, grunt, grunt. The bear on the zoo says growl, growl, growl. The kangaroo on the zoo says hop, hop, hop. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Grunt, growl, hop. These are the zoo animal sounds. The tiger on the zoo says grr, grr, grr. The wolf on the zoo says howl, howl, howl. The hyena on the zoo says laugh, laugh, laugh. The rhinoceros on the zoo says snort, snort, snort. Grr, howl, laugh, snort. These are the zoo animal sounds. The walrus on the zoo says growl, growl, growl. The seal on the zoo says bark, bark, bark. The alligator on the zoo says snap, snap, snap. The giraffe on the zoo says bleat, bleat, bleat. Groan, bark, snap, bleat. These are the zoo animal sounds. The parrot on the zoo says squawk, squawk, squawk. The peacock on the zoo says call, call, call. The owl on the zoo says hoot, hoot, hoot. The flamingo on the zoo says squeal, squeal, squeal. Squawk, call, hoot, squeal. These are the zoo animal sounds. The penguin on the zoo says honk, honk, honk. The koala on the zoo says chirp, chirp, chirp. The lemur on the zoo says chatter, chatter, chatter. The panda on the zoo says grumble, grumble, grumble. Honk, chirp, chatter, grumble. These are the zoo animal sounds.